Alright guys, so pricing your products correctly on Etsy is extremely important, and to be honest, it could even be a massive reason why you're not quite making the sales volumes that your Etsy store should be. So what I'm going to show you in today's video is just the exact pricing strategy that I've personally always used for my Etsy shops that's helped me to achieve some pretty decent revenue and sales figures on Etsy over the past 2.5 years. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I'm gonna load up my Etsy dashboard and I'm just gonna walk you through literally my exact strategy. Right guys, so as you can see, I'm just on my Etsy dashboard here, and the first step I always do as part of my pricing strategy for anything I'm trying to sell is to first, of course, just look at the competition pricing. And so for this example, say I'm trying to correctly price a print-on-demand mug product which I want to sell on my store. So the first thing I'm literally going to do, as you can see here, I'm just going to type in funny mug on Etsy, and I'm literally just going to search for that product. So essentially what I want to do is just look for products that are going to be very similar to what I'm selling, and I kind of just want to get a real rough gauge of the sort of prices that my competitors are going to be charging. And now there is a few things that we want to consider here. So the first thing is that sometimes the price that's actually going to be displayed on Etsy of our competition's product isn't always actually the full price that the customer would be paying for that product, right? So sometimes the pricing doesn't always tell the full story. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean here. So if I click into this horses mug product, for example, you can see here, as the customer, we're displayed a price of $7.99. However, if you actually click on the variants and the options, you can see the $7.99 price is actually just the price of the coaster, which is being sold as a variation of the product. And the actual horse mug, so just the standard white one which is displayed for us, is actually $9.99. Now, this is actually a clickbait tactic, I like to say. You see a lot of Etsy sellers using this, right? And it's just something to be really wary of when you are doing your product pricing research. So this mug is priced at $9.99. However, again, that doesn't tell the full story, because if you scroll down a little bit here, you can see that there's also an additional $2.95 which is being charged for shipping. So in my mind now, this product, which is very similar to the product which I'm trying to do my pricing research for, is actually priced a lot closer to 13 English pounds rather than actually the $7.99 which is displayed. And literally what I do is I just click on a few very similar products like that. So you can see here there's another product also listed at $7.99, which is this certified silly goose mug, which I just think was pretty cool, to be fair. And you can see here $7.99 is actually the price of the mug because there's no product variations listed. If you scroll down to the delivery costs, you can see they're charging $3.95 for delivery. So $3.95, so basically £4 for delivery, and the mug's basically priced at £8. So again, this is pretty much a £12 mug. And then again, I just go back to the search results. So again, just staying on the main page. So the first mugs that shoppers are actually going to be presented with, because I mean, these are really going to be the mugs that you're going to get the best sort of idea of what prices customers are happy to pay for. And another quick point to mention here as well. So as you scroll down, you'll see there's literally a whole row here of products which say add by Etsy seller. So these are the advertised listings being displayed on the first page. And to be honest, I don't tend to consider these too much when it comes to my pricing research for what I'm trying to sell. Because like, for example, you can see here this funny boldy mug that this Etsy seller's trying to sell. They're selling it for $12.99. You can see it's an advertised listing. They've only got 83 reviews on their shop. So this tells me that it's probably not like a really super well selling product. When you scroll down and then you compare it to something like, for example, this congrats on being my husband mug, which isn't an ad by an Etsy seller, and they've got 8.1k reviews. So that tells me that this product is obviously way more popular than the other product which is advertised. So this would generally be a lot better product to base your pricing research off, because you know it's got that massive sales history of customers that have been happy to pay the price for that product. And so yeah, that's pretty much what would always be my first step. Is I'd literally just be looking at the competition, and I'd be getting a real rough idea at the sort of prices that they're charging for their products, including the shipping as well. So I mean, you can see here the delivery cost for this item is £5.20, which for me is something I don't normally recommend charging that much for delivery, because I do think that can end up hurting conversion rates a little bit. But yeah, again, I think because they're actually charging a very low price on the item itself, and then obviously they're trying to recoup their profits in the actual delivery pricing. This is a strategy that you could use. It's not a strategy that I personally use. So for me, something I always do with my products is I always offer free shipping. It's something I've always done, and I've actually carried out testing offering free shipping on products for a month and then offering paid shipping for products for a month. I just always make so many more sales when I'm offering free shipping compared to paid shipping. And obviously with the free shipping, you incorporate the shipping costs into the product cost. And then obviously just like this product is done here, when you're charging for shipping, you would of course lower the product cost and try and make the profit back up in your shipping expenses. I mean, it's probably an experiment for you guys to try if you wanted to try it, see which one works better for your products. So yeah guys, that's always just the first step that I would do when it comes to my product pricing research. I'd look at all of the competition and I'd just start recording down the true product prices that the competition are actually charging for their products. And then yeah, once I've got a pretty good idea of the rough product pricing range that my competitors are charging, then it kind of gives me a really good basis to start pricing my products from. But then crucially, once we've done this step, the next step is to know to the penny or to the cent exactly what your products are costing you to produce and get to the customer, including all of the Etsy fees. And of course, this is going to vary massively depending on what products you're actually trying to sell. But as an example, say you're trying to sell physical products, you need to know exactly how much the materials are costing and exactly how much that ordering is costing to fulfill. So this is stuff like the packaging costs, the postage costs, you know, all of these things, you need to know exactly how much these costs to basically create the product and get it to your customer. And then of course, if you're selling something like a print on demand product, this is pretty straightforward for us to do. So for me, for example, with my print on demand mugs, I'll just show you here in my Printify dashboard, just click on order and you can literally go into any order at all and it just gives you a full breakdown of all of the costs associated to produce and ship that order. And so you can see here on Printify for the print on demand products which I sell, it's broken down really nice for us. So just click into any of the orders and it's just going to give you a great cost breakdown of all of the costs associated to actually produce and ship that product directly to the customer. And then of course, lastly, you're going to have digital products. I mean, this is pretty straightforward because there's kind of no production costs or shipping costs associated with the product at all. Essentially, your cost to produce the products that are digital are going to be pretty much next to nothing. And then of course, once you've worked out all of your production and shipping costs and all that good stuff for whatever it is you're trying to sell, make sure to always add on the Etsy fees. So there's plenty of breakdowns of exactly what the Etsy fees total up to and what they all are. And I'll add a little screenshot of this breakdown to this video. But essentially, for me, I just add on a flat 14% because this is pretty much what they always add up to. And when I say 14%, I mean 14% of the total order value that a customer has paid for your order, including the shipping cost. So yeah, once you've got all of these figures, just want you to, of course, add them all up. So the Etsy fees and your actual product fees. And then this is going to give you your total product cost. And this is really important to know because now I'm actually going to talk you through my exact Etsy strategy for how we should actually be pricing our products to maximize sales, and the total product cost is going to be really important. So this is exactly what I do. Now, when I sell any new product on my store, the first price point that I start it off at is I'm going to set it at a price that's at cost. And by at cost, I mean whatever the total product cost was that we've just worked out, this is exactly what I'm going to set the product to. So this means when we're listing a new product, we're not going to be making any profit at all on the product, right? And this is something that we just need to really come to terms with, because for me, it's the best strategy. Now, the reason I do this is because the product then is just going to show up at such a favorable price to all of the shoppers out there. And more often than not, it's going to be a lot cheaper than the competition. This is just going to be really important because it's really going to help us get those sales flowing in at the start for the new products. And essentially what this is going to do is it's going to tell Etsy that we have a really high in-demand product and that the product is something that customers actually want. And so I'm sure that you've probably heard other YouTubers say this before as well, but when you first list a product on Etsy, you kind of get what's known as a halo period, where Etsy don't really know how good your product is, and they don't really have any stats about your product to know where to place it. So a lot of this research, I guess you could say, into your product that Etsy's doing, they do in the early stages, like over the first few weeks. And this is the reason why it's so important to try and get as many sales on our new products as we possibly can early doors. Because yeah, once Etsy starts seeing that our products are actually making sales, then it's just gonna help to massively rank our products a lot higher well into the future. And then of course, once we start making some sales with our product, this is then the time when we start upping the price ever so gradually, bit by bit, maybe say month by month. So for example, if I was selling a mug, I would literally originally market it at cost. Say for example, $10, right? It cost me $10 to produce, and including the Etsy fees, I come to a total product cost of $10. I will then list the product at $10 and just to get a few sales coming in early doors. So then yeah, I'd reassess after the first few weeks, say, if I've made maybe even just 5 or 6 sales on that product in the first, like say 2 weeks, then I'd already start considering maybe upping the product price to $11. So increasing it by $1. And then if I continue making sales at a similar or the same velocity, then again, I'd increase the product price by another $1. But the key thing is to just make sure that you never get too greedy. And I know it's easy for us to do. I've done it myself before. You start making loads of sales and you think, I can pretty much name my price on this product, right? So then you up the price of the product way too much. And then what happens is it actually ends up massively lowering that product's conversion rate, and you end up turning loads of customers away. Then of course, Etsy sees this massive dip in the velocity of sales in your product. And then what's gonna happen? You know the answer already. It's just gonna massively bump your product right down in the Etsy search rankings. So yeah, that's kind of my main pricing strategy, but I just wanted to quickly clarify something to you guys as well. Pricing is not everything on Etsy, and there are some aspects which, in my opinion, are a hell of a lot more important than your pricing. You know, things like having super high quality mockups, making sure your SEO is completely on point. Actually having a really good quality product that people actually want to buy is also very important. And another thing which a lot of people massively overlook, customer service as well. Make sure your customer service is just really on point, especially in the early days. On this channel, I just want all of you guys to have an incredibly well-rounded business, and I just want you guys to get set up to have the best possible chances of making good money and having a successful online business. So yeah, hopefully you got some value from this video. That's just my full pricing strategy. If you want to check out any of my other content, feel free. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.